All right, Ian, this was a topic that when I originally spoke to you on the phone about talking about this, you actually didn't want to at first. And I was like, okay.
I still don't, necessarily care, but I don't see things exactly as everyone else sees them. I just think it looks really, really bad.
Okay, we're going to go through the Finnigan Fox Intellivision Amico footage that was put out close to a week ago. So Finnigan Fox, which was shown in the August video when they originally canceled or delayed the release of the Amico to April, which is going to be officially delayed again at any point in time. Finnigan Fox is a reskin of a game called Fox and Force.
Yes.
Which came out on Steam, on Switch. I'm not sure it was out on any other consoles. A 2D sprite platformer. You change the seasons to help your gameplay, I guess. It could be spring and you use your winter powers to create like an ice bridge across and I guess do things like that. It looks standard. I guess the reviews I saw or seeing was like, it's an average. It's a fine game. It's okay.
66% on Metacritic, 7 out of 10 on Steam.
It's okay. So this footage came out with Tommy playing it, and I wasn't going to talk about it at all because, okay, it shows footage. It cuts from him playing with the controller for 30 seconds to the gameplay. So let's talk about the gameplay real quick. It's okay. The problem with this is that Finnigan Fox tries to be I don't know why they didn't call it Fox and Force because everything has to be exclusive. Okay. All the sprite art
is gotta have a mascot character. That's the really weird out of touch thing that's sticking out for me with this. So desperately wanting to create a mascot character when mascot characters haven't been big since the 90s.
Yeah, Impossible. That was the last one we tried to do. So the problem is that the original sprite pixel art has been pasted over with this, I guess, Unity 3D-ish ordinary graphic style that everyone's like, why did you do this to this game? It looks ordinary. It doesn't look special. It looks like a Flash game to some people, or mobile style graphics. I think it looks like a 3D or CDI platformer from like the mid to late 90s. That's how it looks to me.
Yeah, it looks very, very bad.
It's ordinary.
It reminds me of CDI. It's very ordinary pedestrian 2D art, and with everything that's been said about Fox and Force in terms of its reviews and whatnot, it looks good. I think the game at the very least, don't know anything about the gameplay, I think that the original sprite art looked good.
Sure.
On Fox and Force. So I'm wondering why they felt like they needed to fix something that wasn't broken.
Well, this is what I was thinking. I was like, well, why don't we just do a sequel? If we want an exclusive game, do a sequel to Fox and Force.
Sure.
The problem is that would cost more money than pasting over graphics.
Sure.
And creating, like, you have to create a whole new game. Because this is the exact game, the original game that came out a couple years ago with pasted over graphics. So what's happening here? So that would have been the long and the end of it, and I wouldn't have talked about it. But there's a caveat to this story that I'll explain. And I try to explain to Ian. And there's a slow motion video. So Tommy, Mr. Intellivision CEO, Tommy Tallarico, he's using the Amico. Before it cuts to, I would think it was pre-recorded footage because Tommy's voice, he's on a mic talking over the gameplay. Before that, he's playing the game with an actual Intellivision Amico controller on its side with the D-pad, circular pad, whatever they're calling it, disc pad on the left. And he's controlling the Fox. The issue is when he's moving the character, as Ian, you can see in the slow motion video.
I watched the slow motion video.
The character, at first people thought something weird was going on when they were watching this, because if you slow it down, before Tommy presses, for example, left, the character's already turning and going left. Before the character's turning right, the character's already turning right. So some people were saying, oh no, that was faked footage, that they were matching it up to him using a controller.
That's what I saw.
That's a theory that could be possibly happening there. I don't think that's what's happening though.
His button presses were coming after the movement started.
What I think is what's happening is maybe not worse, but still damning. I think the controls are inverted. So when he presses right, the character goes left, and when he presses left, the character goes right. And if you follow the video, that is what's happening, especially on the end. When he presses right at the end, the character keeps walking left. So what is happening here? This is a weird, in my opinion, attempt to cover up the horrendous lag that is happening with this system. Because he's going back and forth so quickly left and right that if you're watching it in real time, not looking closely, it's almost like when he goes left and right, the character is instantly moving left and right. And that's what's happening here. So that's my question. If he's playing this footage, Ian thinks he's not, I'll say he is. Why are the controls inverted on this controller? There's one of two options. The controls would be inverted. One, the gyroscope isn't working on the controller. So when you're flipping it, it's not being flipped properly. Or two, they're locked in and he knows they're locked in and he's trying to pull a fast one. Those are the two options here. Either way, it's not good.
No, I don't know.
It looks terrible.
I don't know what's going on with that video footage, but it does not look like the controller motions add up to what's going on screen.
I mean, you can see it when he's pressing right at the end with his left thumb is pushing right. Before he jumps, the character's running to the left when he's pushing right. It's clear as day. And he's tapping, by the way, to jump, hitting the touchpad
is weird.
Something is a Finnigan Fox.
Something is afoot.
It's weird. Oh, by the way, tapping the touchpad to jump is going to be a horrendous gameplay design model.
Oh yeah, it's going to be awful.
See him tap it twice just to jump, because it's not reacting properly. So to do the double jump. I want a moratorium on double jumps in platformers, by the way. I'm kind of done with double jumps. I think we've gone overboard on double jumps. Anyway, it's another conversation.
I like a good double jump.
I like a regular jump. Just regular jump me, Ian.
I like a good double jump.
Just regular jump me. The double jump's not physics-based. I think you can double jump in real life. Anyway, so at this point in time, the more we see this stuff, the more we ask what is happening. And like I said, I wasn't going to talk about this game besides this footage here. And the footage is damning in one of two ways. Either he's not really playing it, or he's playing it and the controls are inverted to cover up the lag, in my opinion. He's trying to cover up the bad lag. And the more people examine this, it's like 10 frames of lag. These games will be unplayable with 10 frames of lag, especially a platformer. It'll be unplayable.
I think without even having to look too deeply at anything, it's just bad that the system was supposed to be ready to go in October. Totally was, except for,
And the games.
Yeah, everything was supposed to be good to go for October, but then had to be delayed because of COVID and passing certifications. Fucking certifications. Yet, here we are 6 months after the delay, and...
wow, it's been 6 months. That was August. 6 months.
What we've gotten is a re-upload of the no gameplay showing. Correct me if I'm wrong. The no gameplay showing Smart Bomb.
Yes, they did a re-upload for no reason of the segment of the guy talking about
with nothing new added.
No, it's the same video.
And then we get to see Finnigan Fox in action with basically nothing new.
I think we got a Missile Command here or there. We got a couple of games. We got the Breakout demo, for example, back then. But
not a whole lot.
But the fact that he's playing with the controllers inverted,
and when is the real marketing supposed to begin?
I guess when it's going to come out. When's the official delay supposed to happen? If you're taking pre-orders still on GameStop at this point, and you're taking money from investors based upon an April date,
you mean crowdfunding? If he's still crowdfunding,
that's right. It's really crowdfunding. GameStop Amico. If I go to get my $300 Galaxy Purple, it still says it's going to be released on April 15th. We're about to hit Chinese New Year. I think in a few days, which is like 2.5 weeks. So, I mean, no, it'd have to be on the boats by now. The product would have to be on the boats coming over to the U.S. by now.
Yeah.
To come out for a chance to come out in April. So it's disappointing, and right when this this came out, I think after the podcast Wednesday. I don't think that's a coincidence either. When this stuff comes out, there's always like 4 or 5 instant reactions somehow that
you think that's on purpose?
Yeah.
Give them a week to run interference before we come.
Well, that's what happens though. That he has his little probably Discord and he gives everyone the footage straight up. He knows it's going to come out, so that when you search for this stuff, you see all these reaction videos from his little cult. The problem is that the more that we see more of these videos and the cult doesn't notice these incredibly obvious things that everyone else notices, you look worse and worse. There's only so far you can go before. I know you don't want to believe what you see in your own eyes, but if you don't see Tommy playing with the controls inverted and see the lag here, or see something not matching up. Either Ian's right or I'm right. Either way, it's not good. Either way, it's not good.
It's easy to, it's simple enough to just say something is afoot.
It's afoot. And you have access to Tommy, and he's playing you for a fool. He's playing you for a fool because now you look horrible, vouching for this guy who doesn't give a shit about you and will drop you in a second as soon as the Intellivision Amico is no longer a thing that exists in this world. Do you think he's going to be talking to you every week?
When that is not his current toy project, I don't think this is, y'all are going to be staying in touch.
And you're holding the bag now because now you're pumping up a 3-year-old game that got middling reviews with an ugly pastiche over it, and now you have to be accountable for not noticing this shit that everyone else is seeing. This very noticeable stuff that either Tommy didn't tell you or you didn't ask about. And it looks awful for you. You're not going to make a career off of the Intellivision Amico, pals. You're not going to do it. Or going after me and Ian.
No.
Maybe this is why you're in the position you're in, though. You can't notice a guy playing with the fucking controller inverted.
You don't know how to cut your losses.
Oh, that's for sure. They're in deep at this point. But it's not looking better. That's all I'm going to say. And again, I wasn't going to talk about this at all if it wasn't for the little controller thing that looks incredibly bizarre.
Yeah.
It's like, who cares? It's a game that you get the company good. You pay the company to paint over it with an uglier coat of paint, their old game, which I'm sure they're like, okay, we'll take your money, even though they're probably like dying on the inside. Their beautiful pixel art is now gone.
Yeah. I mean, make that money, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I just feel like, ugh.
And even you go to the Reddit or you go to the Intellivision Amico page and see the comments. They're not good. The top comments are not good. I'm glad that they're still on there. They're not even being over the top in terms of being acerbic or being overly cutting. But the ones I saw, if they're still there, it looked much better, so much better when it had the original pixel art. That's the first one. Looks so generic and boring, or have I missed something? Let's see. It looks really odd, great game and all, but it's not as sharp as like Sonic, for instance. I don't think you're going to get a Sonic the Hedgehog on this system.
No, I don't think you're going to get
looks like something. This one says, looks like something I would be interested in playing, but I would overhaul the animations. Not to bash anyone or say that they are doing a bad job, because they aren't. But bone rigging 2D animation always looks like a cheap Flash game / movie. I guess that's a term for how you design some stuff.
Yeah.
I prefer they go the hand-drawn route, like Earthworm Jim, for instance, for at least the main character and a handful of enemies. It shouldn't take a halfway decent animator much time at all to get a run, jump, and shoot animation created that looks way better and more natural than what they currently have. See, I haven't looked at the animation that well, but I can probably see the point here. Looks okay, kind of looks like a Flash game, though. Tommy, I really want this to succeed. So this is someone trying to be positive.
Right.
Because I can appreciate your vision and what you're trying to do. In my opinion, this looks like a mobile game to me. Is this going to just be a system that plays exclusive mobile games? Well, he didn't know this is a game that came out on Steam before. I want to have a reason to buy this system. I just can't see titles like this doing it for me. I will continue to pay attention to the videos this channel drops in hopes of finding some titles that will really compel me to want to purchase one. Earthworm Jim isn't a strong enough IP to be a definite console sale for me. That's constructive criticism. That's not a hater. That's a person who wants to buy your system and is not impressed with this game.
Yep. And I think as time goes on, and keep in mind, so I always forget that a lot of the pre-order money, definitely not crowdfunded, was a $100 supposedly fully refundable deposit.
You put the other $200-$250 in once it's ready to go. Yeah.
Right. I mean, if things aren't getting shown, I mean, how many of those $100 deposits are going to actually convert to a full system?
It looks like a Flash game. I don't know how to feel about it.
That is what keeps coming up over and over again. And I feel like I felt like I saw something where he said, well, if it isn't for you, it isn't for you. But it's not for anyone.
That's the thing. He said,
even the people who are trying to be nice.
Yes. On the one hand, it's fast and clear, high contrast. On the other hand, it looks like a browser game from the mid-2000s.
Yes.
So maybe me and Ian were being a little over top, saying it looks like a 3DO game. It looks like a game from the 2000s. We said that about the other games. Looks like a game you'd find on, you say, like, you know, your 50 or 101 little CD-ROM from the late 90s, early 2000s, like that. And on the Reddit, they were on the Reddit, they're probably a little more cutting than this. This one is also on the YouTube. They should have kept the pixel art. This doesn't look good at all. Also, it seems too easy. Maybe a fine game for a 5-year-old. That's all. It did look like a pretty easy stroll through it.
I saw something where he said they might do an easy and a hard mode.
Oh, that was an easy mode,
but not a normal mode.
What?
I don't know.
Then a couple on Reddit real quick, and then we'll move on from this. But because I don't want to kick Finnigan Fox when he's down here. But people on Reddit had similar criticisms, and again, these weren't all nasty. These were just like, what are we watching here? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
It looks like they spent a lot of time redoing the art, updating the music, and supposedly making the game easier. But why not make a sequel to Fox and Forest instead? Why repurpose a game that's already available on other platforms? This should have been an actual exclusive title. Oh well, at least they're showing gameplay footage, though it would have been better without Tommy talking all over it. Just let the games do their talking and not their obnoxious CEO. Oh my god, that UI is dated looking. Jeez. I mean, the game itself looks good enough, but why can't they put any of these guys in charge of developing a non-hideous interface in the system itself? Man, those graphics. The response to that was, seriously, doesn't even look good still. It looks like what someone just started. It looks like what someone just starting art design might think looks cool. I joined this sub because I liked the idea of the Amico, but so far it's just early 2000s era Flash level. This game in particular is bad. Nothing feels connected. The limbs awkwardly move like a poorly done Rayman. No shadows. Particle effects on the weapons seem to stem from the center of the character. Didn't that happen in Astro Smash originally? The shots are coming from the inside of the character?
They did not. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was saying that it looks like basically it just generates like the laser sprite behind it, and then it starts to go upwards. It didn't look like it was firing from a gun. I think they fixed that, but still, yes.
It's just amateurish. It just feels like an indie developer made this. It just all feels like an indie developer made this as their first game. Pretty underwhelming. I'm still not seeing how this will bring the family back together in the living room. At least in my house, we already have a Wii with Mario Party and Mario Kart. How's this going to compete?
All right.
There's more.
We got it.
So,
yeah, it just keeps going.
It doesn't look good.
No.
I hope the hidden gem, or the gem of it that I called out, cornhole, will look more impressive there, closer to release.